Give them a minute to log on here. Did we get the new words for this? Did we get new words? Thought we did. Maybe not. All right. No. Where'd I put those words? I know I made it up. All right, give me a second here. Let me. Do we have the word der Berg last time? We did? Okay. Okay. We have tanzen. I think so. Yeah. All right. Here we go then. Good. I got one person here. All right, here we go. Let's see if this is the right one. Yep. Okay. So some new sports words, and then we're going to add in some other words that are these irregular verbs, but let's try this first here. Baseball, pretty easy. They're baseball. They don't have another word for this. Just call it baseball. Guess what? If it ends in ball, it's going to be der, right? So they're basketball, they're baseball. Track and field, it's a new one. As a sport, that's leicht athletic. So there's the word athletic. And then leicht athletic. Morning. Morgen. Yeah. Mid-morning. It's Vormittag. What's Mittag? What's Tag? Middle day. And this is Vormittag. Before midday, before noon, maybe. That's not exactly mid-morning necessarily, but it's before noon, but that's the word they use. Noon is what we just said. Mittag. Afternoon, we had Vormittag. Now, think about how you tell time with these words. Minutes after, minutes before. Nachmittag. Sehr gut. Nachmittag. Evening. Abend, we know. Night. Nacht. We had these before. Now the verb to cook. Kochen. To bake. Backen. This is irregular too. This is the umlaut. The A is going to change to umlaut in those two cases. Backen, we'll see the verb to become. That's a new verb. Werden. Werden. To break. New verb also. Brechen. And this is one of those that's going to change from E to I in those two situations. To carry also can mean to wear, like clothing. This verb, a new verb, tragen. And tragen also is irregular umlaut over the A, as you would guess. To catch. Pretty good dog name. Fangen. And it's irregular. We take an umlaut over the A in those situations, third person and second person. To fall is also irregular. You'll like this verb, fallen. All right. To forget. We had essen, right? What is essen? To eat, yeah? This verb is vergessen. Not to forget to eat, although it could be. But vergessen, although it works the same way, that E-S-S-E-N is going to conjugate the same way. E is going to change to an I in those two situations. But vergessen is a whole different verb that has nothing to do with food at all. Vergessen is to forget. To fry, we had backen and kochen, braten. Maybe you've heard of bratwurst. This grilled sausages. Well, they're not fried. I don't know why I call them. To give is also irregular. Braten's irregular too. This is geben. So the E changes to an I, like it. Okay. To go, but with the transportation, like with a car, a bus, a taxi. Could also be to drive. Have we had this word before? We have had the word, but for different things. Gehens to go by foot usually, or just general kind of go. But if you're taking a car or a bus or a taxi, or this verb is fahren. Have we had skifahren maybe? Yeah, this doesn't make sense what I just said, but fahren, it's irregular. It's going to take an umlaut over the A when it's used right. Helfen. Sorry, jeez. I gave you the word. That's it. That's the verb to help. Helfen. Helping over the street here. E is going to change to an I. E to an I. This has two meanings. Let's just say it means to meet. I'll change it. Let's say it means to meet. I think we may have had it. It's treffen. Treffen, E goes to an I. It's irregular. To let or to allow. Lassen. To let. And this is umlaut A when in the right situation. To read. I've had this before, I think. We've talked about it. Lesen. Lesen is to read, and this is one of the ones that adds an I and keeps the E. Maybe remember that. Do least, or least. New verb, to recommend. Recommend is empfehlen. And here's your stem vowel, E, and it's going to put an I in front of E. Just like with lesen, this would be du empfiehlst. What's a, schreiben is to write, right? What's an Empfehlungsschreiben? Sometimes seniors ask me to do this for them. An Empfehlungsschreiben. Yeah, yeah. Good. And recommendation letter. So to recommend, empfehlen is the verb though. Good. And to run, we had this already. I think I'm going to take it out. To run, laufen. To see, nine, sehen. So laufen's going to take an umlaut over the A, but it's pronounced, because there's a U after it, it's going to be pronounced like läufst. Remember that? Sehen's going to add an I right there between, and make it du siehst, to sleep. It's a great verb to know. There's a Bart, yeah. Schlafen. But it's irregular. What's going to happen to it? There's the vowel. What's going to happen to the vowel? What are you going to add to that? A what? No? What are you going to add to it? I can't hear you. Umlaut. So it's going to be du schläfst. Ich schlafe, du schläfst. I'm sleeping, you're sleeping. And then third person, schläft. Wir schlafen. All of us, and it goes back regular. Only with du and the third person singular. To speak is also irregular. Do we have this word yet? Sprechen. And the E changes to an I. So du sprichst. To steal. This one's going to add an I and keep the E. Stehlen. But du stiehlst. Sounds more like English than you're stealing. To take, this is a weird one. This one's extra irregular. Nehmen. Nehmen. But it changes the E to an I, makes the H an M. Du nimmst, that actually changes another consonant. To throw. New verb, werfen. And it's irregular. Wirfst. Waschen. Oh, geez, I keep doing this. Sorry, guys. Very good. Yes. Waschen means waschen, to wash, and it's irregular. Du wäschst. Umlaut A. If there's an A, you're going to put an umlaut over it. If it's an E, you might change it to an I, you might add an I and keep the E. Depends. So we got a lot of things there. We got a few more sports and leisure and hobby interest kind of things, like kochen is new. Also some time expressions about time we've had before, but we're going to talk about using the certain phrases to make the sentence talk about the future. So that's how we do that. So they kind of review some of these. We've had most of these before. Like I said, some interest stuff, and then they get into the irregular verbs then. That's what most of these are, from, 15 on to most irregular verbs. Good. Okay, let me think for a minute. Let's look at this about the, back on our books here. I can put it on the board if you guys don't mind being in the dark here. I can just put it here on the board, or you can use your book online or your real book. We haven't, come on. We haven't talked yet about the future tense or using these words to make the future tense. Oops. Past that. There we go. Well, I can't think. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Here we go. Present, it's on page 80. The present tense is future. Yeah, how do we, that didn't sounds kind of funny. Like, okay. Well, here's how we do it. Here's the words that are in your vocab list. If you can see those: morgen, Vormittag, Mittag, Nachmittag, Abend, or Nacht. And here we make the future tense by speaking in the present tense, but we throw in a time expression that talks about the future, like in the morning, or at midday, or just before noon, or in February. Some phrase like this: tonight, this evening. This evening, we're going to the store. If I just say we're going to the store, that sounds like present tense, right? You call me in the car. What are you doing? We're going to the store. If I say we're going to the store this evening, it's the same words, we're going to the store, but I threw in the words this evening, and now it's future tense. Or at least it's not actually in a future tense. It implies the future. You know that I mean I'm not doing it right now. It's going to happen this evening. So we can do it with phrases like with seasons or months. We can say im Februar, or the spring, im Frühling, im Sommer, im Winter, im Januar, im Juli. And if you say that, wir fahren Ski im Februar. I'm going to assume you mean next month. That's the future. If you say wir fahren Ski, that just means we're skiing. That's just right now. But anyway, so we can use some of these words. We can use words like übermorgen, day after tomorrow, morgen with a small m, meaning tomorrow. All kinds of things will help us put it in the future tense. Let's see if we can do this here. Can you guys see this? I'll pull it up this way here. I have to. Okay. So can you guys see it okay? That better? Okay. So there's certain words we're going to have to learn that go over with certain other words. Like we say in the morning, but Germans say a word that sounds more like on the morning, like am Morgen. So those phrases we have to know. But Montag, that's a big long word. What is for? We had it just a minute ago. What's Vormittag? Mid-morning. What's Montag? So they have one word for this. Montag Vormittag. Right. Mid-morning Monday, or I don't know, something like that. Monday mid-morning. What are you going to do? Gehe ich spazieren. What's spazieren gehen? We had angeln gehen, essen gehen, go eat, go fish, and spazieren gehen last week. Had a picture of a couple in the park, just walking. Go for a walk, right? So Monday, mid-morning, gehe ich spazieren. Will we say im or am? Any guesses? Does anything sound right? Huh? Am is right. So anything with Tag, really, we're going to say am. So am Montag, even just the day Monday. Any day of the week. Am Samstag, am Sonntag, am Mittwoch, am Donnerstag, am Dienstag. We're going to say am. So here with Tag, we're going to say am. Am Montag Vormittag gehe ich spazieren. Now, here's two words, one phrase more. We have heute Abend. Well, what is heute? It's two words. What does heute mean? Heute is Dienstag. Sorry, today. What's Abend? Keep giving it away. Evening. What do you think heute Abend means? This evening. Literally today evening. Huh? Abend on its own just means evening. So what makes sense here? Heute Abend spielt ihr Karten oder Abend spielt ihr Karten? Again? Heute Abend, tonight we're playing, or this evening we're playing cards. And again, ihr spielt Karten, you all are playing cards. That's present tense. That sounds like you're doing it right now. But if I say heute Abend spielt ihr Karten, well, then I'm implying something different. Future tense. Ursula, here's the irregular fahren. Ursula fährt blank Februar Ski. I just mentioned this a minute ago. What do we do with months or seasons? We use am or im? No, we use am with days. This is im with months and seasons and years also. So if I say, it could have been Ursula fährt im 2022, Ski. Okay, it's making long-term plans. That would be im. So with years, months, seasons, we use im, and this is a month, Februar. So Ursula fährt im Februar Ski. This is tricky. I don't know why they're doing this. Oh, don't worry. Next, what do you think next means? The next, so if you're at a barber shop and you're waiting, the next, yeah. Well, this is something we haven't learned yet. I don't know why they're doing this. Nächstes or nächsten, it's going to be, it's nächsten is the answer. But it means, what is nächsten Freitag? Next Friday. So if I say, wir wandern im Wald on its own, what does that mean? Wir wandern? What's wandern? Hiking. Wir wandern where? Im Wald. In the forest. But if I say, wir wandern am Freitag im Wald, oh, sorry, you're right. Nächsten Freitag. If I say next Friday, that automatically implies that not right now. Next Friday. We got a few days yet. When is Friday anyway? Is it coming up? Is that tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Huh? Okay. It's a short week, isn't it? Kind of. Best thing about 3-day weekend, the 4-day week that follows. Not the best thing, but it depends on what you do every weekend. Wir wandern nächsten Freitag im Wald. So what is ich fahre Fahrrad? What does that mean? Fahrrad fahren? Riding a bike. So would it be morgen Nachmittag fahre ich fahre or Nachmittag? This is a bit, what do you think? Morgen Nachmittag is right, but that seems a little bit, you have to say, like, maybe say am Nachmittag, but Nachmittag fahre, yeah, I think people, anyway, this is the one answer they want right here. So if I say heute Abend, that's this evening, but what's morgen? What would morgen Abend be? Now, but morgen has more than one meaning. Morgen can tomorrow, right? So morgen Abend is tomorrow evening, and so what's morgen Nachmittag? Not night really, but no, further back than that. No, further other way. Mittag is what? So what's Nachmittag? After noon, after midday. So put it all together. Morgen Nachmittag is like where we are right now, but in 24 hours. What is that? What's morgen Nachmittag?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon. And what am I going to do then? Fahre ich Fahrrad. Wir gehen klettern. We're going what? Wir gehen angeln. Nein. Wir gehen essen. Nein. What is it? We're in climbing. So wir gehen we're going night climbing. No? I don't think it's recommended. But what's übermorgen is not heute, nicht morgen, aber übermorgen. Yeah, so Thursday, right? So does that make sense? Wir gehen übermorgen klettern. Yes. We're going climbing, what would we say, day after tomorrow? Okay, day after next. Übermorgen, what did I say here? Okay, got that. Now, okay, well, there's a reason why this is going to be different, but I don't know why they're testing us on this, because we haven't learned this kind of stuff. This is the same word, next, but the ending has to do with the noun that follows it. This word up here, nächsten, was Freitag. It's a masculine word. That's why it's nächsten. But then here it's a neuter word, so it takes an es. I don't know why they're doing this, but anyway, it's nächstes. What does it mean though? Nächstes Wochenende. Nein.
Week.
What? Okay, week,
Next
but
weekend.
thank you. Wochenende. Next weekend, what are you going to do? Spielst du Tennis? Play tennis. Good. Okay. So notice there's another thing happening here. It's not just making it, well, most of these are set up this way. It's not just making a present tense sentence talk about the future, but it's also something we just talked about briefly, I think, last chapter. Probably should have talked about it more. That is, this word order situation is changing too, where if you begin a sentence with one of these phrases, like, let's say, nächsten Montag. What's nächsten Montag? Or if I say, im Februar, or im 2023. Good. Oder am Abend, in the evening. If I begin a sentence with one of these phrases, then I have to turn the word order around in the sentence. I got to put the verb in front of the subject. You'll notice in all these examples what happens. Nächsten Montag gehe ich. Look at it, breaks the rule. This is a verb plus subject situation. Normally that would be a question, right? Verb plus subject equals a question. But it's not though. It's only inverted because of this precedes it. When anything precedes in your sentence precedes the subject and verb, you turn it around. You make the verb first. Montag gehe ich angeln, let's say. Im Februar let's say, fahren wir Ski. Im 2023 kauft er ein Auto. Good planning. Am Abend kommt sie nach Hause, coming home. But notice all these though, because we began with a phrase like this, it inverts the word order. It's the verbs first. But are any of these questions? If they were, they'd have a question mark at the end. If nothing else. Why is the verb first? That normally doesn't happen. Remember this little thing here? This is the normal rule. Subject plus verb equals a statement. These are all statements. Verb plus subject equals a question. And we've got verb plus subject, but they're not questions. Why? Because we began it with something other than the subject or verb. These prepositional phrases, these time expressions, nächsten Montag, or could be something like morgen, tomorrow. It's one word, an adverb like that. That's going to invert the subject. If you begin it with that, you're going to notice that the word order changes. Look back to these here again. So the first one is am Montag Vormittag. Here's the verb. Gehe ich spazieren. But look at the example we didn't talk about. The example doesn't begin with that phrase. Wir fahren, subject, verb. And then the time expression. Nächste Woche, next week. Where are they going to? Nach Polen. Poland, right? So wir fahren, but this is not inverted because we didn't, if I put nächste Woche at the beginning, next week we're going to Poland, but we're going next week to Poland, word order is normal. None of the ones we use I think are normal. Heute Abend, this evening, spielt ihr, verb, subject. Oh, here's a normal one. Ursula fährt, subject, verb. Because we waited for the time expression until the middle. In February. You can do this in English too. You can say, in February, Ursula's going skiing. Ursula's going skiing in February. Right? You can kind of slip it in wherever you want to. But in German, when you do it to the beginning, then it changes the word order. Here's one that's normal. Wir wandern. When? Next Friday. Nächsten Freitag. If I began with that, it'd be different. Nächsten Freitag wandern wir. Another normal. No, it's not normal. I say normal. It's not the regular word order. Morgen Nachmittag fahre ich Fahrrad. Not ich fahre, but because we began it with this phrase right there. Wir gehen, subject verb. Because we wait until the middle to say übermorgen. If I put it at the beginning, it would change the word order. This one's going to change the word order. Nächstes Wochenende. I begin with that phrase. Spielst, here's my verb. Spielst, subject, do. But it's a statement. It's got a period at the end. Why? Because we began with nächstes Wochenende. Okay, that was last chapter. That we had that, I believe, maybe even further back. But I don't think we spent our time on it. But that's two things going on there. And this is the thing, that these phrases can come at the beginning of the sentence, and those phrases are what make the present tense sentence talk about the future. We're going skiing. We're going skiing next year. All of a sudden now it's future. Okay. Good. Pull that down here. See if I lost. I think I might have. I hope I was sharing that with you. I think I did. Okay. Good. Let me. How much time do we have? 10 minutes. Okay. Good. Let's. Now, as I'm sitting here doing this, I think to myself, I think this has relevance what we're doing here, and I'm not sure why I'm saying that. Well, we're just going to go anyway with it. I think it has to do with the little culture section in your okay. All right. Boy, I hope I'm good. I feel like I'm. Oh, anyway, we'll just go with it, right? You guys are okay with that, right? Okay. It's this little slideshow, but we won't be able to finish today, but we'll finish it on Thursday probably. So, put it back on the screen. This is a boy. I don't know why I'm doing this, but let's just do it anyway. This slideshow is about this area called, now where's called the Romantic Road. Sounds like a really fancy thing, but let me start this here. And so I got to do my little trick here. Edit. So a couple of these things we've seen. I talked about King Ludwig II and how he built all those castles and everything. I talked about that, right? Didn't I? I talked about King Ludwig.
Yeah, he built all his castles and wasted a bunch of money.
Yeah, but now they're happy about it, but back then they weren't so happy. So the Romantic Road goes through part of that area, and when I say Romantic Road, nothing to do with romance, man, woman, okay, love, all that. It has to do with the time it was built. There's a Romantic era of like literature and music, and this is kind of a broad stroke, but it has to do with a lot of things like the fairy tales were compiled during the Romantic era. We're talking about 18th, 19th century. Although these towns we're going to show you here are much older than that, they have kind of a fairy tale like quality to their towns, and that's why they're part of this thing called the Romantic Road. And it's a real like Route 66, like your signs that say you're on Route 66, and you're on the Route 66 historic route. They have the same thing here with these with this stretch here. It goes all the way from northern Bavaria over a little bit into this other state, but it hugs the barrier or the boundary and ends at the very bottom of Bavaria. This is the state of Bavaria that's over here on the east side of the country. And it stretches from Würzburg, which is in Franconia, still Bavaria, but all the way to Füssen, which I mentioned in the slideshow about King Ludwig, but we'll say in a minute, or maybe to Thursday. But so from the Franconian region all the way to the Austrian right, I mean, from Füssen, you can walk only 5-10 minutes and be in Austria. You're right on the border. So all the way from the top of the state to the bottom. It was once a country, by the way, Bavaria. You see signs like this along the way, Romantische Straße, even the same color as a lot of the Route 66 signs. I see that kind of brown color. And so it's a historic road or the place that or a scenic route, see signs like that sometimes. That's probably more along the lines of this, but you can see the Alps in the background down there, certainly that's the beginnings of the Alps. And of course you do get into the Bavarian Alps at the end of this trip. We started in Würzburg, which is a beautiful city. By the way, the Augustinians have a big presence there. They have a monastery in Würzburg and this great bridge here that goes across the river and with these statues of several saints, St. Augustine included. And up on the hill here is this wonderful fortress castle. And these are vineyards actually on the side. See these, you see those lines? I don't know if you can see it or not. There's actually grapes growing there, wine grapes. And but Würzburg is that's a great panoramic view, like from the castle, looking down on this river, and the city, really great, old, very medieval town. That's where you start on the Romantic Road. There's the castle. Let me just tell you that for a guy like me, kind of overweight and out of shape, you're down here on the bridge and you're just like praying, like, I hope this tour doesn't include a hike up to the top of that castle. It did. It did include that. I'm lucky I'm here today. It doesn't look that bad, I know, but it's steep and you guys are younger than me. So anyway, it's straight up and look at them. This vineyard just goes, but there's a path over here, but it's just like straight up. They even had like signs on the walk path that told you what grade it was, like the gradient, like, you're at 20% or whatever. I was like, well, I don't need to be knowing about that. That's making, okay. Anyway, I got up there. I made it. Now, Rothenburg. I think I showed you Rothenburg. Yes, that's why I'm thinking about it. Rothenburg was the town we showed you in another video. Ob der Tauber. This is a walled city. It's one of the few cities in Europe that still has a wall all the way around it. Like the wall, it's original. Well, I don't know if it's all original, but the wall that it was built around is still standing. Of course, I'm sure that parts of it had to be repaired and knocked down, but it's pretty much the same thing. These are the towers here that are part of the wall. And of course, there's entrances now. These would have been better protected. Now you just drive in and out. But it's this is kind of the most famous view. It's also the travel poster view there on the over here by Waite. But you see, you got the flower boxes and the flowers, and you got all the colors and I don't know what it's called in English. It's this in German called Fachwerkhäuser. These cross slats. I'm talking about here. See, and all the colors of the houses. It's all very. You could film like a fairy tale. In fact, they do film movies in these towns because it's so idyllic. There's one in particular that you might know they filmed. Here's part of the wall around the city. You can actually walk the entire thing and walk along. And this actually goes all around the entire, it's not a very big town, but you can walk all the way around. They have those little, like all the little windows, but the windows are like angled like this, So archers could like shoot and not be shot. It's harder to shoot inside, but whoever they can see, they can shoot outward. The people live here. I mean, very expensive, I'm sure, to live here inside the city walls, but the town actually goes outside the city too. But here's the wall. You can see it like in these towers along the way. There's a different looking tower, but you see there's structures outside the city too. But that's, of course, it's just expanded. This is a pretty touristy town today. Probably run into some other Americans if you go there. But you know what? It's cute. It's worth seeing. And it's historical. Next town on the Romantic Road is Dinkelsbühl. And a lot of these towns kind of start to look alike. But you have all this red tile roof. Almost every building has the same kind of roof to it. You can see again the same colors and everything. It's not quite as charming. It's a little bit bigger than Rothenburg, but it's still really something. And you could film a movie here and it would look like you walked right out of the 1300s or something. Here's this wine market. Here, these houses here are, these buildings here are different vineyards, different vineyards, and you have this main street here that goes through Dinkelsbühl. A lot more traffic. They don't allow as many cars inside of Rothenburg because they're trying to keep the foot traffic and not the all the car traffic. Then a town I went to many years, Nördlingen, which also has a wall all around the city. That's one of the really two cities in Germany that still has this, Nördlingen. And look at this, man. It's pretty spectacular, really. Much bigger even than the last one. It still has a lot of charm to it with all this kind of architecture and very colorful. But Nördlingen, they filmed a movie in Nördlingen called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Not this Johnny Depp stuff that they did. The original movie with, what's the guy who died? I can't remember his name now. Funny guy. Anyway, I'm just drawing a blank. And if you've seen the old movie, it came out in the 70s. At the end, well, actually, they have scenes in the town during the beginning of the movie, but at the end, they like shoot up out of the factory in an elevator, like a glass elevator, and you can. These are actually the still shots from the movie. This is Nördlingen down below.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone for your cooperation in making Yearbook Picture Day go so smoothly. If you did notice, we were ahead of schedule, and that's largely due to your efficiency and your getting in and out. So thank you very much for making that go.